Mm. This is Danny. How are you guys? I can't wait to get into today's show. We're going to talk about what's going on in the world through the streams of awareness. It's not one-sided. So that people don't have to lip read me. Is that what we're checking? Uh, uh, oh, okay, good deal. So far, what we've gone over is the certain aspects of reading the chart. What is human design? Why it's a genetic science, why is it we can rely on what is it we learn here when we look at each individual body graph, and the mechanics of what's in the body graph, these things we call a life force. Today, we'll be looking at those life forces as they play themselves out inside of us, inside of our awareness. We have streams of awareness that have been chugging along, and we're going to see what those things are. People will identify with these things. They'll be like, oh yeah, I'm like that. And now they'll start to see why it's not an accident that you're like that. You're designed that way. I'll pull up a just now chart. You should probably do the same. Yep, just now. J, and what is today? Today's the 20th, isn't it? And it is 1400 hours, and it is 0 minutes. Mass. Today we are in the cross of the vessel of love. Yep. So last week we left crisis. We were in basically the gates that were in the sun were crisis, and now we're in the vessel of love as an incarnation cross. Last week we had gate 36 in the sun for most of the week up until just a day or two ago, and people should notice that crisis and friction are sort of leaving the sky. We still have crisis and friction, don't get me wrong, but it's that sense that we're so inexperienced, we just don't know what we're going to do with it in any way. And now as the vessel creeps in, and again, all year long, guys, we're constantly going through these 16 different main incarnation crosses, swapping out every single quarter and repeating themselves, and we've left what was essentially the feeling of crisis and friction, and we're entering into what would be the vessel of love right now. And it would be right now we're entering into the universal love of all things as a natural. So people might feel like a little bit of a hermit today, and then tomorrow they'll be out bumping into things, and then the next day they'll be talking it up. And then finally, we'll be universalizing what is love and then acting it out as a role model. So by Wednesday of this week, we should start seeing the role models of what is it to have love be the power that empowers our direction. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's all there. All the children being born today are being born as manifesting generators that talk a lot and are emotional and are in the vessel of cross of the vessel of love, the universal love of all things. The thing is, what we have playing out on the planet is, don't forget the binary. In our not self world, when we're not awake to our strategy and authority, the binary that plays out is if the love of all things universally, or if you're not in the right space, it's the hate of things. So there's a powerful, that's where our dark forces come from our solstice seasons, our solstice and equinox seasons. That's where they come. And yep. So what we're looking at are these sets of streams of awareness. Can you get to the graph that has just that one? Yes. And so, are we ready to start? This is a very simple, so this is your body graph, and notice the two spots where there is no awareness is the sacral, the generative life force on the planet. We went over this, the centers, and then the G center, the identity. There need be no awareness in our identity. Our identity receives the awareness and becomes the identity. That's the G center, the diamond in the center. So last week we did the streams of awareness that were emotional. So those are the streams that are on the right-hand side. Notice gate at the bottom on the root chakra, you'll see gates 19, 38, and 41, and how all of them seem to go up a stream to the throat, except for one. No, I could see it, yeah. Just run your cursor right up the stream that is 41 all the way up to 35. Yep, that's it. So that's a stream of awareness. And notice there's another one going from 38 all the way up to 12. 39 all the way up to 12, I mean. From the root center, 39. Yep. And it goes up the individual set of awareness up to 12. Now notice that inside one that starts with the pressure of gate 19, the pressure to approach, the pressure to need. That goes up and it takes a left-hand turn into the ego. That's the tribe, baby. And that tribe, yep, the ego defines the tribe. The tribe has the will of the ego. The ego is the will to commit to the tribe. Don't forget that tribe makes the babies and it preserves the babies. So we need support, we need commitment, and ego willpower gets that done. Ego willpower keeps the promises. It does the stuff even if it doesn't like it, and it defends the tribe. Yep. So emotionally, I'll just recap last week's emotionalness. Emotionally, that stream of 19 up to 19 up to 40. If you skip over to the slide, that is the solar plex awareness. Don't forget, guys, solar plex is new awareness. It's only 241 years old in humanity. We haven't gotten used to it yet. So we're all still blaming each other for our feelings when our feelings are just a chemistry inside of us. Yep. So look at the slide, the picture on the far right. I'm oriented correctly, right, Jen? When I say far right, that's what the viewer. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. So stream of awareness, sensitivity. It should also say support, but sensitivity is what it is. And notice, see how that stream of awareness goes through that solar plex center, which is our awareness, that brown triangle pointing in, that one, and it takes a left-hand turn into the ego. That is all about the tribal need to create bargains, create a marriage bond, create the support that keeps the community together, keep the community fed, keep the community together, decide who is allowed into the community. Not everyone gets in. If they don't share the right tribal values, they can't come in. And so tribal business can be sticky business because some tribes will allow the other tribe to starve. Some tribes will absorb the other tribe and allow them to become part of something. So as we start to wake up to our solar plex awareness that says, hey, we must commune, and love drives our direction. The hope is that as tribal people wake up, they start to realize, I don't have to be just for my tribe. I can literally choose to help the tribe next door, because in the past, usually if the tribe next door had weakness, the other tribe would sack that tribe and take all their stuff. You know, that's a common story in humanity. That's not who we are anymore. And like I say, we just haven't gotten used to that yet. Notice that middle picture. That middle picture is a stream of awareness called feelings. It's again, these all have a powerful wave to them. It's a wave action whereby the wave of the solar plex brings the individual who has this defined in them, either of these streams of awareness defined in them, brings them through a wave that's a chemistry in their body that brings them from hope to pain. That's what the solar plex is doing for us. It's bringing us, we know it as hope to pain, because when we get down so low, we're in pain, emotional pain. We try to take pills for it, all kinds of things. None of that's what we're supposed to do. So when we're in that emotional pain, we start to retool the awareness of the people who let us read for them. They will start to see that's not pain. That's where my awareness is. My awareness is in the sadness, because I always come out of it smarter. Always. So when you start realizing I always come out of it smarter, it makes going down low in that wave not feel so low. Many people have learned it. I see it all over the internet. Sit with your feelings. I'll hear people saying, you know what, we just have to accept that this is pouring through us. That's what they'll say. Right? You hear all this verbiage all over the place from people spontaneously all around, all over the place. Guys, girls, different countries. It doesn't matter. We're all seeing it. So what they're recognizing is I have to wait out my wave. That's what they're recognizing. I have to wait it out. The wave requires that we wait for it, because it's going to be at joy soon. It's going to be up there high in the clouds, all excited, tribally excited that it's got the right community. It feels full, individually excited that the cup is full and I feel my spirit. And then societally excited from the collective, that basically there's new experiences to be had and we can share stuff. So that's what these streams are doing. The far left one, the stream, it's called of emoting. This is the individual unique awareness that we all have that says, I must have melancholy over my spirit. And as I have melancholy over my spirit, I come out the other side happy and basically excited, impassioned, emboldened to be a unique individual mutative force, neither tribal nor collective. And that's who the tribe and the collective are fighting for. Right now, the battle on this planet is for the hearts and minds of the individuals. Literally. So the tribe says, no, stick with the tribe so we can support each other. And the collective says, oh, just do what we say. We'll come up with one world thing and you'll all fit in and we're going to share our one world order with you. And the tribe says, oh, no, that's not very supportive. And that does not speak to the sensitivity we need in our tribe. The collective would like to take away the gods of the tribes, and you can't take away the tribe's god as an archetype of an example. You can't, don't mess with my God, period. Yeah. The Catholic Church is partly a tribe and partly a collective. The human beings inside the church create a collective, and they lose track sometimes. Oh, shoot, we're acting like a collective, and we stopped acting like a tribe. Because the individual members inside, let's say you pick a big church, one of those great big Texas guys that has a great, Sunday podcast where 1 million people tune in. Trust me, there's 10,000 tribes sitting amongst those 1 million people. And they're all part of a larger tribe. So they'll support each other. They see each other on the street, they'll support each other. But at the same time, the leadership starts to turn into a collective, and they start trying to make homogenized rules for everybody. When the tribes say, no, it's sort of this way for us, but at least the larger tribe agrees on the same God and the same essential, maybe in that case, core principles and so forth. Maybe they'll study from the same Bible. It's all happening genetically inside us. We can't help it. What we need to do is become aware that the genome inside of us is bubbling up to the surface to be the character of the way we live out our life. So the quicker we can get to reading for people one-on-one, one by one, the quicker that they'll start to see I'm none of these things. Everyone's an individual. It's just that, notice, go back to the main screen, the first screen with all the streams in it. The first one with all the black lines. Yeah, that one. So again, it's all those three streams that go off to the right from the bottom, from the root center. There's three of them. Notice the inside one is the tribe, the outside one is the collective, and in the middle, stuck in the middle, is the individual. And the individual says, I am mutative. You can't influence me. I'll influence myself. I'll allow myself to be influenced or not. And I don't care what you say, because the individual is acoustic. They're in their own cells. The tribe and the other ones are supporting and sharing the tribe and the collective. They have to be outward. The other thing, the individual is very inside. All they care about is empowering people. The individual gets the individual definition of that individual stream of awareness, wants to empower people to have the passion to listen and articulate and be a social creature. That's what the stream of awareness is essentially doing. It's a pressure to basically provoke the spirit that will bring the empowerment that can be articulated to the other. So that's not collective. I'm not sharing that. It's not tribal. That's not me promising I'll support you. That's me in a unique moment. Suddenly I'm empowered, and it comes in a pulse. So the collective and the other two emotional streams are in a crash wave, or they're overall of time. But the individual one is literally, it's in a pulse. It shows up in a pulse, meaning it's not there and then it's there. Say that again, Jen. In an instant. They absolutely do. That's what the individual wave does. It spikes. And that's the keynote. One of the keynotes for individual definition is that it's in a pulse. It comes in a spike. It spikes up or down. It has melancholy or great happiness and sort of out in the world contributing. And it just wants to be empowering. It's a genetic way of us to want to empower the other. It's further genetic proof that the old 7-centered way that only needed to cooperate is gone. The new 9-centered way of our current human condition must commune. It's in our genome. I must empower you, Jen. I must. Oh, they can't hear you? Oopsie. Yep. So I'm going to start to go up that left side down, because the right side is hot. It's emotional. And that emotional awareness is loaded down with motors. There's four motors touching it. So it's very busy. On the left-hand side, going from the root up, that same configuration. 3 channels moving up to the left. 2 of them on the outside go all the way up to the throat. And the inside one takes a hard right-hand turn back into the tribe. Look at how empowered that tribe is with the ego motor, the root motor, the emotional motor. This tribal stuff is empowered by a lot a lot of motorized energy. When you go off to the left, these streams of awareness, if you click over to the slide, that is the splenic, spleen.
Sorry.
You just came through my speakers.
Did I?
Yep. Yep, I'm turning off my headset. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
And I can hear you.
Cool.
Dare I hang up my phone?
I did.
Risky? Oh, you hung it up?
I did.
Okay. Oh
Can
my
you hear
God.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We are in.
We're working now.
Oh, this is so much better. So that's like AI decided to let us talk. Okay. Thank you, AI. So these streams of awareness, that's creepy. I love it.
Danny knows my design, so I have to laugh this off to transmute, guys. So
Yes. So these streams going off to the left from that root center, 54, 38, and 58.
54, 38. These down here.
Yep. 1, 2, 3. Notice how they go up just like the other ones did. And that inside one takes a hard right hand turn into the ego.
44.
Yep. 44, the fear of the past. So all of these gates that are inside of the splenic center, all of them from 18 on the bottom of the spleen all the way up through 28, 32, 50, 44, 57, 48. They all come with a natural fear. All awareness comes with fear. So here's something for everyone to know. Our awareness is on a hair trigger. It's just there. We don't know what to make of it, and we keep trying to make up our reasons out of our mind rather than following our strategy and authority, which will give us the clarity we need. As we follow our responsive strategy or our informative strategy or an invitational strategy, we start to realize, hey, fear is only there to be experienced in a moment. But the spleen gives us such shocking fears, that that fear can seem mortal danger. And suddenly you're just trapped in this fear that's not really there to be anything other than to give us intelligence. Fear drives intelligence.
It does.
I'm afraid we're going to die. I'm a caveman. Let's sharpen our sticks with our fellow cavemen. And now we can kill the thing better. Sharpening sticks was driven by fear. And it's still today. It's like you have a sudden fear, but what we're not supposed to do is live by them. So 58 pressures the fear to challenge authority off of the root center. 38 pressures the fighter, the adrenalized fighter, to fight for a purpose up in gate 28. I'm going up that stream, up these streams. And gate 54 pressures, basically it's almost like a flirting. It flirts with 32, which is a lot like the personnel manager. 54 is always trying to rise up the ladder. It's the intuition to rise up the ladder and break through the fear of failure. It's basically 32 says, I fear failure. 28 says, I am afraid of a death without a purpose. I'm afraid of purposelessness. I'm sad if there's no purpose. And 28 says, I need to share my correction of things with you. It's collective. Notice these collective streams are on the outside of the body graph. And the tribal streams are on the inside.
Yes.
So that 18 is just gate 18, and the spleen is basically afraid of authority coming in and doing the wrong thing. Yeah.
How many of that's activated right now?
Oh, it is activated. So let's name these streams.
Okay.
Go to the slide that has the streams of awareness for the spleen. Again, these streams of awareness have there you go. Solar plex, one more probably.
Yep, it is.
Splenic awareness.
Right.
So notice how, look at, these are the three streams we just saw on the larger picture.
Yes.
The tribal one on the inside, so the far right hand one, I call that on the inside because it looks more inside than out. And so 54 up to 28, this is the stream of instinct. We call this our instincts. It's our instinctual awareness to not fail. It has a fear of the past. It wants to bring home resources to the tribe. It's practical. It's cool. It just wants to have everything be supported, held together, and it's got these two primal fears. The fear of the past, which says really fear of extinction of the species is what the primal fear is, and the fear of failure. Too much tribal failure leads to extinction. And what spots that? It's a splenic awareness. It's instinctual awareness in the moment to moment. So that's why you see people jumping on a hot tin roof, because moment to moment, instinctually, they may or may not be afraid. And if you take that with you as something that stays with you, welcome to a shorter lifespan. That's not supposed to stay with you. It's just supposed to drive moment to moment awareness. That's it.
Okay. We have a question whenever you are ready.
Oh, I'm ready for a question. Yeah, please.
Okay. Savannah asked, how can those with collective channels and those with tribal channels work together instead of fighting and battling each other? Which I think is a very important question.
It's a wicked good question. It's a two-part question. Do we have the ability to bring her on to ask the next question?
I absolutely can.
We'll do that for the next question if you want. I'll just answer this one. Or it's up to you.
She's on. Okay. I know her internet's been on and off, so
well, anyways, that's a two-part question. Sorry to interrupt you. That's a two-part question. First of all, these people do get along because people with tribal definition are acting out in the collective. They're acting out their own little tribes inside the collective. We see it all the time. The little tribe near the store that doesn't want to let anyone in who isn't vaccinated. That little tribe pod of 10 or 12 people running that store, so they're tribal inside that collective. So it's a hard question to answer. How do we get the forces that are tribal and collective to get along? For that, constitutionally speaking, it could be written into law. Hey, if the collective wants to have its way, it can't force any tribe to do any one thing, but it can start to have some of its way. That's
like a man-made law?
I mean, unfortunately, in our not-self world, that's how that would work out. In an awake world, it's everyone starts to wake up to their nature and realize that outside stream, that awareness of taste, you can insert in the word taste judgment, because it's your judgment says your taste will say, oh, I don't like the look of that. You have a different taste in clothing, a different taste in apparel, a different taste of what you like to put around your house, whatever. That's your judgment of that thing. You go into someone else's house and they have a bunch of things you don't like. Your judgment says, I don't like it here. That's a judgment. Now that's us being splenically aware of our judgment moment to moment. It doesn't make the other person bad. However, the collective hasn't figured that out yet. They think their judgment is supposed to be the law. So one of the ways we can get around this is to recognize, hey, just because that's your judgment, that's not the natural law of our human species. Our human species is here to commune. Get your business out of my tribe. Leave my tribe alone, and we will follow certain collective rules.
And that's within the laws of the universe. Because I think that as soon as the awareness comes in, then that's when you really start to get in tune with the container that you're living in. This is...
Yep. And that container is giving us this chemistry over and over. But someone with that outside awareness, the one that's the awareness, the stream of taste, notice how that goes on the left. Notice how that goes along the outside set of channels. So the channel of judgment, which is 5818, is judgmental. People will have this channel. Sometimes their partners will say, sometimes they're a little bit bitchy, they might think. They're not bitchy. They're sharing their judgment with you. They don't want to make it personal. But our not-self world takes that energy and feels it as judgmentalness sometimes. And they take it personally. That's the thing about the collective. The collective is not personal. So how's it going to learn to get along with the tribe? It has to wake up to its individual nature so that it can stop trying to control the tribe. The tribe is supposed to control itself with the help of the collective. And the collective is just supposed to set a nice big box around the outside of the world, so to speak, to say, hey, we got a couple things going on that we have to take control of. Shipping lanes. That's collective business. We need to set up shipping lanes so ships don't run into each other. That's collective business. Okay. After you're done with the shipping lanes, don't tell us what we can and can't put in our ships. Don't tell us what flags to run on our ships and when we're going to have prayer or Ramadan or Mass on our ship. or what food we're going to eat on our ship, or what the hell we're going to. Don't tell us what to do with our ship. We'll stay in our shipping lane, though.
Perfect example.
Perfect example. We'll play ball with your stupid shipping lanes, and they're not so stupid. They're actually pretty smart until they become political.
And I got to say this real quick. I like that we're touching on this today because I do think that some people, you know, with me going on my awakening journey and waking up and getting in tune with the natural laws of the universe, you intuitively know how to deal with people. Like some people will think that maybe it won't quite work out that way, or we need laws because humans need that kind of thing. But when you have your awareness, or when you wake up to your awareness, we all get in tune with each other and with the universal law. And you're really breaking this down as this is what happens.
This is what happens
on a cellular level.
Which we can't help it. We haven't woken up to our cellular nature. It's correct. Being programmed by something we call our genome. Let's not mystify this genetics too much. The genome is a program. It's constantly moving along all of your cells and sewing them up. It's like, oh, dead cell, get it out. The genome will replace it. It has instructed the T cell to kill one and replace it with another, however that's working. Those are instructions. Just like you turn on your computer and it instructs it to boot up and load this and load that and then show you a screen. No difference. No difference. It works for binarily too. It's on a binary.
It's so, okay, we're going to have to do a whole show on that.
It's in our binary. By the way, our humanity has been copying our genome all along. Why did we stop computer code at binary code? Why not trinary? Why not quadruple code or 10 times or whatever? Why not? We stopped at binary code. Well, that's what's going to work on this planet. We're a binary creature, so ones and zeros, baby. That's our genome. We're just copying it up here on the surface, not realizing it.
Yes. Okay.
So this judgmental stream of awareness, you're right. It's the natural universal law says we have a few laws, like Newton's 3 laws. So if we could have stopped at Newton's 3 laws, we'd be great. That's it. 3 little laws. That's great. But we can't stop there yet in our sleeping world because we're so judgmental. And then it goes up to that next channel above, that next life force channel. Again, it's called a life force because if you have it defined in your body graph, it's consistent throughout the life. I can talk to you over and over again and recognize this is consistent in you and the rest isn't. And so you'll start to recognize that and surrender. Oh, I'm consistently this, which means I'm consistently not the other stuff. And that's what we'll get to in a reading, who you are, who you're not. This upper channel that goes from 48, the depth, the well, up to gate 16, which is the enthusiasm and the gate of skills to basically articulate all that depth. That depth was given its depth like a drippy faucet because the joy of 58 fueled gate 18 to drip little corrective things into the well. Gate 18 is always trying to correct stuff, and gate 48 is always trying to pour out its depth of what was and or could be corrected. It's about trying to basically correct and identify patterns that are worth repeating, like a shipping lane. That is a pattern. Traffic lights. That is a pattern. In school 5 days a week. That's a pattern for kids, for instance. So these are collective logical patterns. And when those patterns are in good shape and everything's working, the collective's very happy. And it starts getting less happy when it realizes, oh, I'm done with new stuff to control. We controlled the pattern of the streetlights. I'm bored. My judgment says I want more. I'm a not self, oligarch acting like a 7-centered control master. And so I need more. I need more than those streetlights. Now I need all the streetlights. In fact, I need to control the electricity that controls them. In fact, I control the unions that put the tar down on the road in the first place. It's just control, control, control. That's all they want because they want to set all the patterns indefinitely for infinity. Just sort of like the science. Trust the science. It's settled. Science is never settled.
No, it's forever evolving. We're
Forever evolving.
constantly learning new things.
The collective will be forever evolving, and the thing the collective hates the most, the collective definition and the collective way, is when things evolve. They don't change is the worst thing on the planet to them.
Yes.
It's like, don't change, don't mess up my streetlights. They work perfect. Okay, we'll leave your streetlights alone, but we're totally changing the models of cars that drive by them. We're a mutative species. Everything keeps changing. Sooner or later, the algorithms for these streetlights are going to have to change, maybe. We don't know. What if we all got on electric cars that move faster? Suddenly the lights will have to change a little.
True.
Who knows?
Savannah has another question, and her internet's in and out, so she's having trouble saying it. So I told her to drop it in the chat, and I'll repeat it. She asked, so having awareness of yourself is what helps humanity to get along and have peace. Is that correct?
Period. Well put, Savannah. That was great. I'm glad we have people in the background asking questions, Jen. This is important.
Absolutely.
And have that peace and be ourselves. Let's look at what this self is. So we saw the collective sharing awareness of taste, which is really judgmentation, trying to articulate an enthusiastic pattern it wants everyone to get behind. That's what it's doing. We see that inside stream on the far, that's on the far right, this stream of instinct, tribal. It's about support and the sensitivity to support, not wanting to fail. So all that stuff is well and good. The tribe should have its way. The collective should be able to identify and articulate enthusiastic stuff, but the tribe should not be imposed upon by the collective. And so what the tribe says is, what the collective says is, we're going to try and brainwash all you individuals inside the tribe to leave the tribe and come to the collective. To hell with the tribe. It just wants one world order, one way. And that individual stream is right in the middle. You see how that's right in that stream of awareness goes from gate 38, the fighter. It goes up to the spleen, which is aware. Again, the spleen is aware. It is aware moment to moment of what is good for the individual. Savannah, you asked for our individual way. So moment to moment, we have awareness of what is good for us. It's called intuition. It is the most powerful of awareness. The judgmentation awareness needs cooperation because it must share. It has to share. That's the keynote. So let me share my new world order with you. It's my judgment that I've articulated a pattern of a new world order that's going to take a lot of mayhem, but I don't care. I want it. I'm going to share it with you. That's what they're doing. Klaus Schwab can't help but to share it. Poor Bill Gates. I almost feel sorry for the guy. He can't help but to share his death and destruction or whatever it is he's doing on this planet. You know, he can't help it. He's trying to share.
Have you done his chart?
Yes, I've got his chart. In fact,
okay. Well, we've been talking about doing a Wednesday show come April, so we're going to definitely incorporate.
We're going to drive into some famous people and see what the hell.
Yes, key players that are what's going on in our collective at the moment, and doing their chart.
A good time to throw out an all call. So anybody who wants a famous person, do the hunting to find out best you can their time of day. It's easy to find any famous person's date of birth, and then the bio will say where they were born. That's easy. The time of birth matters.
Yes, get the time of birth. We have another question. So people with the 1858 can be ridged in thinking, which can make them controlling?
No. It makes the appearance by the other that they're trying to be controlling. They're just sharing what they correctively see. It's there to challenge authority. The authority it's supposed to challenge is all authority, and it challenges it to make sure it's still working right. Make sure that authority is still good for me. Again, everything always comes back to I and me. We're separate. We're all navigating this plane separately with our genome requiring us to commune. But it's still our separate self that must be awake and aware within the communion.
Mm-hmm.
Period. So it's not that at all. It's that the collective person can't help but to literally point out the stuff that it's aware of that needs. The gate 18 is called work on what has been spoiled, meaning that something got spoiled. Work on it. That's a challenge to authority. You challenge the principal at school. Hey, how come, you did this, did that? A kid with this channel will challenge their teacher. What do you mean you're not picking on that person and me for our question? You only ever pick on the person in the front row, they'll say. I raised my hand too. That's a challenge to that teacher. You can count on that challenge from a 5818 channel of judgment person, kid. And they'll do it naturally. And that's the time in that child's life to not squash it and say, oh, you shouldn't seem confrontational. Sorry, teach. The kid wasn't confrontational. The kid was perfect. You, seven-centered, absorbed it as confrontational. That's what's going on. So, Savannah, no, it's a hard one to get used to. When you have this channel, it feels judgmental, and the person speaking it may sometimes sound judgmental. They may themselves, unaware, start feeling judgmental themselves, but they can't sort of help it. At the same time, it's nothing to do with judgmentalness. As it relates to the other, it's just as it relates to a pattern it's seeing. It sees a pattern and it has a splenic intuition, an instinct, awareness, a taste of that pattern to say, I instinctually know right now that is good, that isn't good. This is good for me. This isn't good for me. The spleen is aware. I say that's handy. I'm aware this pattern is good. The pattern of the seasons. We have to chop wood all summer long so that we can have wood for the winter. That's a pattern.
Yeah.
So let's make sure we have sharp axes in spring. That would be a pattern. You see what I'm saying? So the person with this stream of awareness would be like, I'm fixing what has been spoiled. Hey, dum-dum, you didn't sharpen your axe, and that handle's broken. And I noticed that the wood on top is still good, but the wood on the bottom is starting to rot. And we maybe need to rotate the wood before we start splitting it because it's starting to rot. That's a pattern they would notice. Now, if it's an archetype and that's the missus telling the husband that that's what's going on outside, the husband might say, quit bitching at me. I'll get to it. She's not bitching, or the other way around. It wouldn't matter. I'm just using archetypes.
No.
But so, right. And
Yeah,
meanwhile, the person noticing it is saying, but I've identified the pattern. And 58 is called joy. Gate 58 in that root center. That's the fuel empowering this pattern making. Joy. The incredible joy for the patterns that happen in life that are predictable, that we can. It's a joy to make everything great. That's joy. That's what, because when Lennon and McCartney had most of this stream of awareness.
Okay.
They completed it together. They had the joy of creating pattern after pattern we know as their songs.
Yes.
Fueled by joy. That's what's supposed to happen with this. We're all supposed to sing songs and share. Let's share our songs. That's what we do all the time. Let's do that instead of sharing our great new world order, at the expense of 1/2 the population of the planet quickly. What are they thinking? Jesus.
We will do their charts on that.
Yeah. So we will do their charts and find out where their fallibility is and see if they get a little pissed at us about that.
I'm pretty sure. Why not stir the pot?
Yeah, I sure hope so. So the inside stream of intuition. Notice it's right in between the two. The tribe doesn't mind the individual. Remember on the right-hand side, I said that individual moodiness and that passion and that individual uniqueness that has to become aware of a spirit. I said that thing happens in a pulse and it lives in an emotional wave. On this left-hand side, there is no emotional up and down wave, hope to pain. There's just a melancholy or not, or a happiness with it. But it's still in a pulse, in a moment. All individual definition happens in a pulse. It's there. It's not. It's not. It's there. It's what the individual is, the definition of what we would call in church creation, what I would call in a religion, just creation. God created in 7 days. God created Earth, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You blow that out over 14 billion years, and you can make that story all day long. That it makes sense, frankly. You can tell I didn't go to church a lot when I was little. So
I was raised in a church school.
Yeah, and both are beautiful. Is the thing. We're all beautiful. We're perfect. God doesn't make mistakes. Period.
No, he does not.
No, so every design is perfect. There is no ill-gotten anything about this stream of awareness on the outside or the inside. They all struggle with the individual. The tribe recognizes I have to let the individual in because the tribe is always aware we need new people. Now and again, we need to let new people in because the tribe, notice that inside stream of the tribe says instinct. See that?
Yep.
That instinct is to not let our gene pool die. If the tribe stays only its tribe and doesn't bring in fresh blood, that gene pool runs the risk of inbreeding and dying off. I mean, that's just instinctually in there, and its fear of extinction and its fear of failure is instinctually there, and it drives it to say, all right, we'll let that crazy individual in. He's weird. He's a freak. You can keynote all individual definition with freak because they're different. They're themselves. That's the difference. And the tribe says, we'll let them in, but they better follow some rules. Like, we're a tribe. You can be your unique self, but we wake up at this time and we go, whatever, they'll have rules. And as long as that individual says, all right, and they're free to now be themselves, not the collective. The collective says, oh no, we might let all your freak in and we might deny you every stitch of your freak individual intuition, happening in a pulse. You better control those pulses is what the collective will say. You better control them the way we want, or we're going to set up a social credit system around you and we'll control it for you. We want a pattern that stays this one way. Don't come along with your mutative, individual, spiking intuition that spikes in the moment by moment through that spleen and comes up with some gee whiz new idea. It comes up with some mutative thing. Hi, I'm an individual. You know what? I saw that all the stuff works this way, but if you go that way and cut against the grain, we actually get to something else and it's pretty cool. Don't you cut against our grain. That's what the collective says. The tribe says you cut against the grain. You might be in trouble for that. But if it was a good idea, we might adapt it. Right? The tribal leader might look at that and be like, you know what? It might be off with your head, or well, it worked out. It got us more water. Ask us, come to the tribal leader next time and ask permission, Dan. That's what they'll say to that individual who was a freak and cut across the grain. The collective says, you cut across the grain, we social credit score you out of your money. Sorry. No food for you. Oopsie. Yeah, it's not pretty because the collective is impersonal. It's just sharing. Sharing is not personal business. It's the individual broadcasting their sharing. That doesn't require that you share back. How about this? I'm individually in pain. Let me share my pain with you.
Yes.
I hate you. Let me share my hatred of you and wrecking all of my patterns by killing you. Let me share my death and destruction with you. Let me share my war machine with you. That shares. That's not personal. The tribe is personal. It's like, hey, we're up close. We have to support each other. I'm so close to you. I can smell you. The tribe smells the other. That's personal.
That is personal.
That's personal business, man. So they're not so eager to just cut off the head of someone in their tribe unless they break too many sacred tribal rules. They break that tribal rule too much, the tribe will cast them out, just like the collective will. But it takes more. And in between all that's that individual intuition. It's mutative. It's a freak. It doesn't know. 58 is fighting for purpose. 28 is the realization of that purpose. I'm going up that stream of awareness called the individual stream of awareness of intuition. It's a moment-to-moment splenic hit. Its intuition says, I'm intuitive. That's all. And it says, I fight for a purpose. It's a fighter. It always comes out swinging. It's looking for its purpose. It's
willing to remember what I have.
It's willing to take risks. That's what gate 28 is called, the game player. It's willing to take risks. I'm looking you up now. And those risks it's willing to take is anything it needs to fulfill purpose. And that risk level will go up and up and up until finally the purpose is met. Sometimes these things can take fantastic risks. Jumping out of a plane now. Do you feel your purpose on the way down now that you're facing death? Oh, I faced death. I feel my purpose. That's very often a thing.
Yes, it is. It's very often a thing. That's why when a lot of people have like near-death experiences, they come out and it's like a spiritual awakening and they are on their path to their purpose.
Period. That's a pulse, Jen. It wasn't there. And in a pulse, the individuality inside their body graph was able to pick it up and uniquely mutate that. Put the word mutation in with this stream of awareness, this awareness that's called intuition. It's mutative because the fighter is fighting for a purpose. 28 is the purpose. It's the splenic awareness of this purpose is good, this purpose is not good. It's safe, it's not safe. It's healthy, it's not healthy. It sucks, it doesn't suck. That's what the spleen does. It does it in a nanosecond. It does it at the speed of genetic chemical electricity. As fast as a battery turns on a flashlight is as fast as this awareness is working, period. Until the mind gets involved and says, oh no, I have to think stuff. Maybe I'll edit it. Maybe I'll censor it. I think I'll say something different. If the spleen says it, that's the spleen's purpose, moment to moment to moment. And when I read for you and you have a splenic awareness, I will point it out to you over and over again. And then you'll be aware. You'll be aware. Who is it that's on? Savannah's on. That's right. So she's got splenic awareness. I'm still looking up you.
I have a defined spleen.
Yep. The channel of surrender, as I recall.
My chart says the gate of intuitive clarity.
Intuitive clarity. That would be 57.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound right to you?
And then I do have the channel of surrender.
Yep. I'm still looking up your design, but okay. So if you have it there, that's fine. I'll stop looking because I'm just screeching with it. So, that next, so this is called the channel of stubbornness. Basically, this person is stubborn. They're deaf to the other. They're not hearing. Individuality is deaf because it doesn't want to be influenced. It's busy being mutative. In that mutation, it wants to simply empower the other. The kid that cut across the grain at the tribe, ultimately, if his freakiness was turned into being a genius, then he mutated that tribe. That tribe has now a new tool in its toolkit. That's incredibly empowering to the individual. That's what gives the individual life, empowering the other. This channel does it through being stubborn. It's stubbornly fighting for its own purpose. It won't even hear you. Hey, you should go this way. Hey, I'm not listening. You know, honey, it's time to blah, blah, blah. What? No, I'm not in the mood. I don't feel like it. All individual definition must be in the mood. It must be mutative. It can only happen in a pulse. That pulse is outside of our will. You can't choose it. You await it. And if you await it as yourself in communion with the other, boy, will it show up in spades. If you await it in yourself, in your own mind, trying to think through, all what I know and don't know, you'll never see it. That mind will cloud up the authority of the inside of your body that's giving you the chemical and chemistry awareness of what the hell it is that's true for you. Anybody with definition in these streams knows this old saying, I knew it. Something went wrong. 10 seconds later, I knew it. I should have freaking turned left. I knew it. I should have got gas at that last station. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Or if they were right, I knew it. I knew I was going to wait and buy that second lottery ticket, not the first one. They did know it. It doesn't mean they'll be right the next time. It just means their spleen said that was good. Buy that second lottery ticket. Let the first guy buy the first lottery ticket. If you've got splenic awareness, follow it.
I do. I follow my intuition
yes.
to a T. It's the first thing that I check into.
It's so potent. It's so there, and this intuition goes all the way up to the throat. And that channel above it is, instead of the channel of struggle below, that channel above is called the channel of it's a channel of the brainwave is what it's called. It's about intuitive clarity that you can't explain, for which there is no words, but it's like the gentle that it just penetrates the person to the core. You're outside, there's a gentle, cool breeze. You think everything's nice and warm. Within a minute, you're penetrated to the bone and chilled. That's what this gentle does. It's like, it's as potent as any warrior. It just comes on and it literally penetrates. It's called penetrating awareness. And it's hard to really keynote that for the individual because they have to experience it. It's in the moment to moment. They're penetratingly aware of what they hear, of exactly what it sounds like. They can almost smell what they hear. They can really feel, and then they articulate that out through gate 20, which is the gate of the now. That penetrating awareness up in the throat center is supposed to come out right now. Period. Once 38 has fought, starts the fight, and the struggle gets found out that, hey, I got a purpose. If they've got 57-20, suddenly that purpose is out empowering someone else right now. It's empowering them right now. Individual definition is about empowerment. Collective is sharing. Tribal is support. Empowering the sharing and support of our individual way. That's how it's supposed to work.
That is how we are designed.
That's how we are designed to operate. So every time we don't do exactly that keynote I just rattled off, we're getting sick. We get sick as a planet, as a species. So,
and there's a lot of that going on right now.
There sure is.
We just had 5555 on the timer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We were on 55 minutes and 55 seconds.
So well, this is good. We can the last streams of awareness are the mental ajna streams of awareness, and maybe we can go through some of that next week. But let's talk a little bit more about the conflict on this planet, because last week we did the emotions. This week we did the we're doing the splenic side of things, and the splenic side of things is cool. There's no emotional wave. So if you have, I'm going to just talk to people and tribal things and collective things and individual things. Now I'm going to go all over the place so we can get out of those pictures. On the right hand side was the tribal, the solar plex awareness. On the left hand side is the spleen. The spleen is cool. The spleen is trying to support things. It likes to make some money. It likes to not fail. It has judgment about stuff. It happens moment to moment to moment. The emotional side of things is hot. It's emotionally hot. It's impassioned. It's got passion. It's super low. It's super high. It wants to experience everything. It's in a crash wave. It's in a spike wave. These things penetrate the other and bring people way down or way up. So they're totally different. If you're on the splenic side of things, you're cool. It's just cool about this. Hey, yeah, my dog died. I love my dog. I cried when other people cried. I stopped crying when they stopped. You're on the emotional side. Maybe you're bawling your eyes out for days. Both are correct. The emotions are giving us the awareness of this juicy joy and this type of other type of spirit that was there to have the love and the bond with that animal that just passed. The spleen says, I get all that. I had my purpose with this. It makes sense. The judgment will be like, hey, some patterns could have changed in how I took care of this dog. The purpose will say, I'm going to get another dog. The tribal side will say, instinctually, we're going to get a bunch of new dogs and we're going to give some to the kids, for the tribe. And by the way, we're going to put them to work helping to herd the sheep, that support the tribe. The tribe's always putting people to work, to do stuff. But it's cool. It's just cooler. So if you have definition on the emotional side and your partner has definition on the splenic side, and you're different that way, just understand the emotional person, don't try to make the splenic person compete in staying emotional where you are. And the splenic person, don't try to tell the emotional person to feel less, to get over it, to any of that stuff. Don't tell them to get over it. Tell them to live through it. This is great. You'll be there for them moment to moment on the other side. But you can't share in their despair the same way.
That's important. That is important, because I think a lot of arguments start that way, in a misunderstanding with each other.
Yeah, you're not feeling what I'm feeling. You won't see what I'm feeling. Maybe they can't see what you're feeling. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Lots of things can happen in this different thing. In the war that sort of raging on now between the tribe and the collective is, you see all those truckers circling DC, and they're still there, and people are really starting to
I'm glad you said that. We'll skim on this since we're airing on YouTube, but we know we like to stir the pot. I haven't heard in Texas. I haven't heard anything about the truckers.
Well, that's because the media is squashing it. You got to get onto Rumble and BitChute and Odyssey, and you've got to get on Trucker Convoy 2020, Freedom Convoy 2022. Excuse me.
Yes, I'm on all those, but it's
everyone just hunt them down, find them. That's our tribe. Our tribe is down there trying to restore and preserve its constitutional American tribe, and they're fighting back against the collective. And notice what the collective does. The tribe shows up instinctually. those streams and awarenesses of instinct and support, the emotional support, the splenic instinct to not fail at being our tribe and not go extinct. That's what's going on with the tribe. And it's using that ego willpower to roar. I'm showing up with my trucks and fuck you. You know, we're showing up. They didn't have a plan. I mean, they drafted a plan and the plan rolled along the way and now they have a plan. But that's very tribal. The collective says, oh, no, we've laid out all these things in advance. We like our patterns. Don't bring your stinky trucks to our pretty shiny Washington, D.C. That's a big fat lie. Don't bring it here. In fact, we're going to set up a lot of patterns. We're going to set up a bunch of state police that are going to set up patterns to make you afraid of us. We're going to set up fences around everything so that the patterns of your traffic don't interrupt us. We're going to set up patterns inside the media that try and make you guys look like you're dummies. And so forth, because we don't want you guys mutating us stuff, because we know your tribe is filled with crazy ass freak individuals that are going to get ideas and they're going to become mutative and they're going to change our shit. And we don't want you demonstrating that to the individuals that are in our collective, because we already know our collective is filled with individuals and we have to work so hard to keep them in line. So we've already got them in line. We've got them mesmerized. They're all hypnotized in the soup, whatever that looks like. And if you come along with your showing us stuff, that you're going to give them a bright idea, and the individual freak in them is going to be, wait a minute, I don't know if I like this, we'll have nothing and be happy. I don't want to live in a renter society. That's the collective trying to share that idea with us. That's not the tribe. So this battle that's happening, support the tribe. The tribe is all about support, and it is the unique human way. So ultimately, don't squash the individual. Allow it to be free. The tribe will support that. The collective needs to get on board and start to share the patterns that supports that as well. We can still have one world order in a sense. It just can't be controlled by one tribe at the top. Because don't forget, again, we're tribal. We can't help it. So even in the collective, we call it the collective, but somewhere at the top of the collective is a tribe or 2 or 4 or 5 family tribes. And what's that tribe doing? We want our stuff and empty out the village next door, take all their shit. That's what they're doing. So they're doing that with collective tools because that's what they think they're doing. They're just not awake. Poor Bill Gates, man, he just wanted to stimulate the planet. He's done a reasonably good job at stimulating the planet, I would say.
I was going to say that. He's done a really good job at doing that. And who knows what all he's got his hands in.
Into every last thing. I mean,
And since we're talking about it's interesting you bring him up. I'll say this, because we're talking about ourselves, our DNA strand. He is somebody who wants to alter that.
Yeah. Well, Bill Gates has an open ego, and he has always concerned himself with his own worth. Always. Yep. Bill Gates has an open head center. He's constantly thinking about things that don't matter concerning his own worth. Bill Gates has splenic definition, and he's trying to determine what's he going to care and who's he going to share all that with. So, yeah, so he couldn't, and he's open emotionally. He's always trying to avoid the confrontation and avoid confrontation and truth. So what happens? Bill gets caught with a question. You watch him stumble on interviews when they're asking him, how come you were hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein on Pedophile Island? Why are you, I had dinner. And he spent all his time rubbing his hands, being nervous about the confrontation. So thinking about things that didn't matter concerning how his worthiness would come through.
He's going to have a lot of that in the future.
He's got a lot of that now. That's why he insulates himself more and more. He keeps insulating himself more and more and more. Pretty soon he'll be in abject fear of death without the right purpose. He's got to struggle for his purpose, and he's really sort of off the rails with all of that. He thinks he's a collective being. He's not. We're all individual tribal beings that serve a collective that has to respect the individual inside the tribe. Period. That's our genetic way.
That is beautiful. Do you have anything else to add, or you want to?
I don't know. Savannah, do you got another question you want to ask?
She has popped off.
Okay.
Her internet was in and out, so.
Well, yes, there's one announcement we absolutely need to make. So besides our Wednesday things that we're going to come on and start doing, let's also start rallying the other reading forces, because what we want to do is have people drop comments wherever they can to say, I want to know more. I want to know more. I'm only one person. I can't read everybody. So we need other Pied Piper time. It's the Pied Piper time. We need more readers. We need people who are familiar with human design at any level, or at a level enough to where they've read for other people and empowered their own success at it. If you've seen it and you've had that moment and you felt it, you know what I'm talking about. Please contact us. We'll interview you. I'll just talk to you real quick. And anybody everybody who wants to write in, start writing in so that you can be read. You can get 15 minutes, 2 minutes, an hour, whatever. And we'll start farming some of these things out to people I can't get to. We'll build a community. Ultimately, there's only 1,000. I don't know how many readers there are right now. There's not enough of us. There's nowhere near enough. And so I hope this platform helps promote other people to want to read and empower the other.
I will. I'm going to be working on getting my reading. The link down below, guys, make sure you save that link. There's within this week, there's going to be a way for, if you are a reader, if you're somebody that does human design, talk about human design, you have a following and you are trying to impact your following with human design, you can schedule or drop us a message. I will put a link in there. Also, we have backstage passes. So when we were talking about Savannah, she is one of our members that was able to come on backstage to be able to ask questions and availability to come on the show. So if you're interested in that, make sure you reach out to us. I can definitely get you a backstage pass. And if you want the free reading from Danny, what we're doing with that, guys, is that as soon as you get your reading, you're going to pop on a call with me and I'm going to do an interview with you so that we can start to collect data and share it with other people about what is going on in their experience and how human design has changed their life. You can find that link down below. Again, make sure you save that link. I'm going to be working on a website so that you can go and get all that information. And then you can also check out Danny Guru's website, dannyguru.com. And yes,
we're going to merge this all into one, Jen. I just
it's all in there. It's all in the link below.
Yeah. But I mean, it's you and me, kid. It's you and me again. We're going to save the world. We have to save this world of ours, guys. We have to read. We have to wake people up. We have to get to the children. Hear this call loud and clear. And let's put our designs up. I don't know if you feel comfortable putting yours up, but I would like my design to be somewhere on whatever it is people see inside the show notes so that they can see how I'm designed.
Absolutely. And I will be putting mine up as well. Me and Danny were talking about that. It's the awareness is key, guys, is bringing that awareness to what this is and yourself, your natural design, how you are. So I will definitely make sure to get that up.
All right. That sounds great. Right. Jennifer, we rocked it again, baby. We're going to do this.
We are on a mission. We've got a lot of ideas coming to you. So thank you for tuning in today. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, share this out. Please help us get this information out. It is vital. Just like Danny said, we are on a mission to get to help the kids, help humanity, and really flip this planet. It's imperative. So tune in next week. Make sure you like and subscribe, sign up to the newsletter so you don't miss out. And with that said, we're going to go ahead and close it out.
Closing it out.
All right, guys, we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, everybody.